I was a kid, when the 1976 uprising happened. And for me, the cherry on top was having learned most of our subjects at school in English and suddenly be told that everything is going to be changed. We're going to learn in Afrikaans. I remember going to one of my teachers and asking, how come they are allowing this, and being dismissed? And then I went to my history teacher and I said the same, and he kind of indulged me a bit that, there's nothing we can really do. We can't change this. It has been decided. And I asked, don't understanding that it's going to cause a lot of us to fail. Why didn't they? Anyway, I can't quite remember how this ended, but it became very clear that whatever we said simply didn't matter to the Department of Education at the time. So, a few of us, and I was the youngest of them, a few of us, started having discussions and so on, unbeknown that, these discussions had also been happening, had also been concerning some of our parents that we didn't know were actually active underground. And then, of course, 1976 happened. We got very hyped up and so on. It didn't in Cape Town. It didn't happen on the same day as it happened in Soweto. There was a bit of a delay, but it was coordinated nationally. So when it happened, the day it happened in Cape Town, I was completely shocked to see the brutality, the white police brutality. I also experienced for the first time in my life, in fact, all of us experienced for the first time in our lives, tear gas, which was then followed by dogs being unleashed on us. And when that didn't work for the police, they then became extremely, extremely brutal and so on, This was a very harrowing experience for most of us. And later on, I remember a few of us got detained, not me, and we marched to the police station in Gugulethu to demand that they be released. And then the police started using a live ammunition, and we realized that, this is now something else, There's no student here, there's no kid, there's no adult. The system is treating us the same way, as if we were just mere criminals, not young school kids and so on. But that also made us, it strengthened our resolve that, there's always been something wrong with the South African social dynamics. And we became determined that we will fight. And fortunately or unfortunately, I happened to be one of those kids who was determined that, I want to see an end to the humiliation of my people, the people who resembled my image. This later on, of course, led to a number of activities that led to me being detained a few times, tortured, and so on. The most painful thing, though, was when both my sister and myself were detained. I could always handle it when it was just me. But when my kid sister was also detained, it became a little bit more frightening than it was. Because now I was dealing with myself, with my own fears. Let's not make a mistake here, I'm not saying by any shot that we were not afraid. We were always afraid. But we were just as equally determined to fight the system, to make to change, to bring about a change in this country, which of course I ended up on Robben Island after, a number of experiences with the security police being detained. I have to tell you quickly, during this period, after when I was tortured, I had for a long time a dream that I was running away from the police and I couldn't run away from them. I was going to lose my legs. I was going to be on a wheelchair. This was big to me, Every time, I thought this, I just broke down. This relates to, I was made to stand for a week and my legs on the third day swelled up so much to my waist. And this became a joke to the security police because they were saying, I am causing this to myself. And they were saying they were not interested in me because, I couldn't possibly know anything about politics. There must be someone older than us who was influencing us to do this, which was all wrong. And now whoever these adults are had left us in the lurch, and as a result, we were suffering because of them. So we kept on getting tortured to reveal names of people we didn't quite know. I'll give you one example. One of my cousins had to go overseas to be operated on one of his legs from the torture of the security police. So, 1976 was quite a turning point for me personally and for my family, You had this family, both whose kids were both taken away, and there was no clue where we were, whether we were gonna come back alive, and so on. Having said all of that, most families, black families, suffered because of the apartheid system. Some of them suffered because their children decided to challenge the apartheid system head on, and they left to get military training in exile. Some never came back. We spoke about reconciliation, but, there is a general feeling, and I have to be honest with you, I share that general feeling that, we celebrate a freedom in South Africa, and I ask myself, whose freedom?